Now, if you're having a Labor Day party in New York City this weekend, you may have some unwanted visitors from above. The NYPD will be using drones to monitor outdoor parties this Labor Day weekend. The department said the drones will help officers determine the severity of noise complaints so they know what to prioritize over the busy weekend. Now, the move is predictably drawing backlash from the community and raising concerns over whether this violates police surveillance laws. Here now with reaction, Fox News contributors Leo Terrell and David Webb. Gentlemen, both, thanks for being here. Leo, you're an attorney. Is this civil liberties encroachment here that you could be out there with your friends, make a little bit of noise? It's Labor Day weekend and the NYPD drones above you?
Let me be very clear. Thanks for that question, Pete. 30 years as a lawyer, civil rights lawyer. There's no privacy concern. These civil liberty attorneys just shut up. There's no expectation of privacy. In the sky, it is constitutionally legal, and I'll tell you right now, it is effective, not just for Labor Day. Do it 24/7. You're in New York City, a crime capital of the country. Run them 24/7. This is just talk. Expect to hear systemic racism that is targeted towards people of color. That's a lie. It is constitutional legal, Pete, for these drones. Have them 24/7 every day in New York City.
Welcome to the Cryptoteacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Support this great content by hitting the Cash App and by joining the Patreon.
And yes, guys, you heard that correct. Drones flying around in New York City if you're having a big party. And we saw New York testing the robotic dogs. So we clearly see the fourth industrial revolution underway, where the robots, algorithms, and drones take the economy over and the sheep go inside the metaverse. Guys, you will no longer need human police officers any longer. And you guys know a couple years ago, I did drones being tested by police departments, and actually where I live at, they were testing drones probably back in 2018, 2019. So this is nothing new for police departments to use drones. And in the fourth industrial revolution, crime is going to change. The way we look at crime now will no longer be. And then if you cut it to 15-minute cities, guys, you're back to a community. If someone commits a crime, you know who did it. And not only will the drone be flying around, but the drone is going to be big enough to pick you up and take you to the actual police station. Put you in one of the driverless cars and drive you to the police station. Yes, guys, the technology is here. Matter of fact, put you in a driverless flying car and fly you to the police station. And once you get there, if you say you didn't do it, only thing they're going to do is put a Neuralink type of device on your head, and they'll know exactly whether you're telling the truth or not. I know it sounds like a movie, but remember, guys, your life is an illusion, and TV is your reality.
I don't want him watching me 24/7. David, Leo's probably, I'm sure he's right. He knows the Constitution and that better than I. But really the thought in New York of this around all the time. I mean, it's one thing to monitor traffic or if you've got an incident, but if it's a party on a holiday weekend, doesn't that feel like a bit much?
Yeah, it is a bit much. And Leo, I think you realize this. Cats versus United States, 1967. Yeah, you're not given that expectation of privacy when you're out in public. How they get past the search and seizure, if they saw something happening, that might be up for debate. But let's look at where this is going to be, the landscape of New York City and what you have to navigate as an operator of a drone in any form, whether you're close by or using the camera, building heights, obstacles, many other things. And then add to this the fact that doing Jouvert, which is a very big celebration, it starts early in the morning, later on in the day, it might get a little bit rowdy. What if people start trying to take drones down? I'm being very practical about this. They're in areas where there are people with illegal guns. And what if they start shooting? What goes up must come down. And unfortunately, Leo, I think you've even seen this in LA time to time, right? New Year's Eve. People do this. Unfortunately, I think they're driving this bigger than it needs to be. rather than having on-the-ground policing, police officers who know the neighborhood, maybe know who the troublemakers are, can keep an eye out. They need to really think about this another way.
Leo, is this basically the drone flies, collects information, provides for probable cause or reasonable suspicion, and then you could send uniformed officers there? Is that the idea?
That's exactly the idea. Let me tell my best friend here, Florida versus Riley. It's a U.S. Supreme Court case. Drones are constitutionally legal. Look, it serves as a deterrent. It's a deterrent. It's a warning out there. We don't want crime. We don't want shootings. We don't want assaults. We don't want that. And we're telling the criminals who've been coddled in New York, we're going to watch you. Airspace is public. There's no expectation of privacy. So it serves as a great deterrent. And given the fact that we're talking about New York City, case closed. You need more help to support the police in New York City. They're basically not supported, and there's no respect for law enforcement. It provides a step before the law enforcement goes in there. I applaud the police.
David, last word real quick. Are you going to have a Labor Day party worthy of a drone?
I'm going to have a Labor Day party worthy of an American flag flying high because you, I, and Leo, we labor all week long and we get it done. But, Leo's right about the deterrent factors and all of that. But, Leo, you also know this. Putting people in the crowd, on the ground, you have an operator. They're already lacking police officers in New York. I think they need to find a balance here. But they do need to be careful of the reaction that could come from the crowd.
Uber, Bitcoin, self-driving cars. Combine those three together, and you have the self-owning taxi. A car that is a corporation that owns itself, pays for the car lease, the car insurance, and the gasoline from the revenues it makes, giving passengers a ride, and there's not a single human involved in that matter.
Continue to see these issues and challenges for the G20. What will it mean when it comes to India-China relations because of this event?
Well, I think what you're seeing is a real, eruption of the soreness between India and China, particularly over their border. It is a hard tack away from really the image that both sides projected just a week ago when they were at a BRICS summit in South Africa, and the real goal there was to project a show of unity and sort of show a counterbalance against the United States. So this will certainly put a dent in that, but, it is an opportunity for Joe Biden because, President Xi Jinping has basically never missed a G20, and now President Biden gets to go to this and will essentially be unchallenged at the leader level in the U.S. push to keep countries on side in the Ukraine war and also convince countries like India to get further in the U.S. camp.
It's interesting that the U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen will be headed to the G20 alongside President Biden. This is her fourth visit to India in less than a year. It would be so, what's a priority here? Clearly that strengthening of that key relationship is front and center.
Yeah, again, there's that global battle for countries like India, Brazil, Indonesia that don't necessarily want to pick sides. I would suspect the key issue is going to be trying to get more of India's help in obeying and sticking with the price cap on sales of Russian oil. India has been a buyer, and the U.S. Has said, it doesn't want to completely choke off the sale of Russian oil because that could cause the oil prices to spike, but it really wants countries like India to obey this push where they cap the price of Russian oil so they can keep oil flowing, but Russia doesn't see the profits. India is just absolutely at the very center of the U.S. effort to achieve that goal.
And we have the media playing the Hegelian dialectic at the G20, India versus China. And that confrontation will be used probably 20, 30 years from now. We know the NWO is decades ahead of everyone else. But we know China and India are working in lockstep for this fourth industrial revolution. China and India are going to take their poverty and move them up to the middle class. And we're starting to see Mexico be the new manufacturing hub, that cheap labor. And we see the United States sitting on the sideline or behind when it comes to the fourth industrial revolution on purpose, because you're witnessing the fall of America to Babylon 2.0. And remember, the Cryptoteacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Going to a different economy. And we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of the huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we can have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Cryptoteacher and the new World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get on stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tanya save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tanya save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tanya goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.